Spoken.
He lurked in the shadows, waiting and hoping she wouldn't take a different route. This was her usual room. He knew that. He knew her.
Ghost of Me, the new book by Amanda Steele, can be found at Amazon, Kobo, Waterstones, and many, many other places. Hi guys, it's Andy N. Thanks today for downloading or streaming yet another episode of Spoken Label. As you may or may not be aware, Spoken Label was started in the beginning of 2006, and currently we have well over 150 sessions recorded and sent. Although you can find it on various networks, the full archive is available for streaming and downloading at Spoken Label bandcamp.com. It is a free download or free stream in there, but obviously, if you feel like chucking me a few pennies that way, it'd be eternally grateful to help me keep this podcast going and keep improving my equipment, etc. Enjoy. Speak to you soon. Bye bye. Spoken Label. Hi guys, it's Andy again, live from Spoken Label. A bit of an unusual setting tonight, or session, because obviously everybody knows my partner Amanda. Amanda does a lot of editing and writing bits and pieces. And the gentleman I've got on the other side of Facebook tonight has actually come from some editing Amanda's done. This gentleman's forthcoming second novel recently. And it's a fascinating book he does. And I'm going to let the gentleman introduce himself straight away in a minute. And he'll tell us all about where everything came from. And we'll talk about his book then, because he's clearly got a lot on the go here. He sounds like he's a busier man than I am. And that says a lot, really. So, over to you, Pete. You want to introduce yourself to everybody, tell them who you are, and where everything came from originally.
Oh, how's it going? Well, hiya. I'm Pete K. Malley, and just say thank you very much for having me on. It's fantastic. And pretty much, I'm a stand-up comic who loves his rock music. I've always been into music. I always love it. And one of my tours, I decided on doing it on sort of my love of rock music. So, and kind of defending my love of music, you know. I think I went through, like a lot of people, went through school, kind of asking out girls and them saying no because they've got an Anthrax t-shirt or a mullet or something like that. And then 20 years later, you're walking down the street and you're seeing these same women now have got daughters who are wearing Motorhead t-shirts that they got in Primark. And you're like, hold on, I worked for that. You know, I earned these stripes. Yeah. So I did a tour for those about to laugh on that was a tour I did. And it then developed into me doing the stand-up tour into supporting the Wayward Sons, which is it's Toby Jepson, who was in the Little Angels. It's his, well, not new anymore, but it was his new band.
Well, one of my sister's favourite bands they were in the 80s, Little Angels.
Yeah, and that was, I'm a massive Little Angels fan, so that was bizarre. And my stand-up set's kind of about that, and it was just about, so I sort of supported them, and in doing so, then I still do my comedy, I still do my touring, but I also do loads of compere, especially for gigs or record launches or festivals. And I've kind of combined my two loves, which is comedy and music.
Right. So obviously, where did the comedy originally come from then? Because obviously music, you can tell that it's come from you were a teenager like I was, what I listened to music-wise.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? About 10 years ago, maybe a wee bit more, maybe it was 10 or 11 years ago, I was just at home and I'm a teacher, sort of, and I need to get some of that kind of out there. And I thought, do you know what? I've always wanted to try stand-up comedy. I was at school. So I remember it really well. I was at Cavendish in London. I thought I'd go to the open mic night and try it out. And I loved it. It was 5 minutes and I loved it. And like a lot of comics will tell you this, the first gig to do is amazing. You go off stage, you think you're the funniest man on earth. You think this is easy. You know, 2 weeks later, you go back again, you completely bomb. But
yeah.
It was a thing. It was a bit of an outlet. I enjoyed kind of writing. So I've been doing that, and I did that for maybe sort of ran a night in Croydon, ran a night in Streatham, ran a night in Tooting, and I probably did 2 or 3 gigs a week, just 5-10 minute sets. And I got to a point after a couple of years, you're thinking, I just don't want to go to a place and do the same 5 minutes. I actually want to do an hour performance because it's got more substance to it, I think.
Yeah, completely. It's natural progression, really. Like I said, And then sort of art medium, and you start off and you build yourself up, and one thing or leads to another, as I always say. So certainly, so no, brilliant, so, and that's where you just expanded it gradually in your comedy, then, really, haven't you? So yeah, completely.
Yeah, and I had a story to tell, and I think when you've got a story to tell, you can't. It's a funny one, isn't it? You do like stand up, you do it in 5 minutes, but you've got to make someone laugh within 3 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Well, you've got an hour, you've got your story to tell, and to me, it's more about the story than the comedy. It's more about the telling of it. I do love stand-up comedy, but I'm not a gag person. I like Billy Connolly and people like that. I love the stories, and I think that's why, I think with portraits, and movies and a good book or good anything, I like the story. And that's why I like music. I like the story of an album.
Yeah. No, I get you completely. No, I agree with you completely. Because like I said, it's just everything. It's the story itself. But I get you completely with that. So, what's the furthest you've actually done your comedy on so far then? Have you really been up and down the country? Have you really done this? Have you done?
Yeah, I was based in London, not anymore. Now I've moved to Stoke, but I'm based in London. But my tour took me. The first tour I did, which was the first tour I did actually was all about teaching, and it was called 20 Years of Teaching, One Angry Rant.
Oh, yeah.
I did about, I would say 14, 15 gigs around the country, and that was scary. I'd never just done a little tour before, but it was amazing. Did 2 or 3 gigs in Scotland. All around, and it was so nice. It was the first time. It was the first time I'd been going to like a band, I suppose, going to a city, doing the gig, going back to the hotel room. So that was exciting. So the new one I've got coming up. So I've not toured for a while, to be honest. I've been doing the festivals, but I've got a new one called Self-Help and Sporadic Hairs, which is about me growing up. And again, it's about the music. It follows the music a lot. But this one, I'm going for the first leg. I'm kind of going around the country. I'm going like to Chester, Brighton, Deal, Stoke, Cannock, and I've got a few odd ones in Burton. So, and I've got a few festivals as well. So, yeah, it's less around the country this time, but I'm still getting around a bit.
Yeah, of course. And also, in your second touring show, how did the preparing material vary from the first show to the second one?
Oh, it was great. The first one was great. It was all about teaching, and because of that, it was full of teachers, of people who lived with teachers. And I wasn't just supporting teaching. I was kind of saying the message behind it. Again, it was a story about teaching and how I absolutely despise my days, but it was kind of about, and it's all about kids as well, and how everybody under the age of 18 is horrible, and everyone could relate to it because it was kind of that. So that was a real surprise, getting people in the audience who didn't know were coming, were relating to it. The next show, the music one, was harder because I was trying to get into the rock circuit world, which I'm in now, but it's still difficult because people into that scene don't particularly like comedy. So I was desperately trying. So the last tour I did was not so much comedy fans, it was music fans, which I liked, but it's different getting the people in. So even now, I'm kind of plugging my gig to people in bands and friends of bands, and they're not really stand-up comedy. So I'm just trying to mix the two. And I think like in the old days, all these things were mixed. There was like poetry, there was like storytelling, there was music, and now we've segregated it. And I just feel we should bring it like an old variety show. We should bring up not a rubbish one, but we should all bring it back and just it doesn't matter what it is, it's performance. And I think that's the important thing.
Yeah, no, I get it completely. Now I know obviously at the moment, apart from obviously doing it, like you said, you've also got your own radio show at the moment, haven't you? On MMF. The home of rock radio. How did this come about?
Yeah, that's cool. So what happened is MMH is a radio station. It was called Midlands Metalheads Radio, but now it's MMH, the home of rock radio, and it's great because because I love the music and I was doing that, and I was kind of comparing. I thought to myself, well, because I'm kind of in the know and in the scene, wouldn't it be nice to listen to the music anyway? I love hearing new bands. So I went to the station and they gave me a great spot. It's a Saturday morning, so 10 to midday. It's amazing, so I can kind of play what I want and have a little natter. And I always find it so bizarre, like gigs and stuff, when people get in touch with you who you don't know in different countries. I'm like, yeah, I listen to your show every week. So I've got that as well. So all links in very much because of the music scene, and how hard is it to sit on a chair and play your favourite your favourite songs and have a chat in between. It's great. So I'm dead lucky with that as well.
Yeah, completely. No, it's brilliant. Nice edits because Amanda's obviously one of her best friends. Ruth runs a radio program. So we were on there a few weeks ago. And I've been a few radio stations. It's great. I love sitting in the radio station and seeing that equipment they've got all over the studios and stuff like that. So how big a studio have you got then when you're on Saturday morning?
It's tiny, to be honest. I did it. So when I did it, I kind of there was a station in London I used to pop into and do bits and pieces. There's a proper massive studio, and I loved that. I felt like, do you know, like the old when you're young and you're seeing all the the radio, you've got the boom and all that. But this one here literally is a computer and a mic. And it's all like nowadays the technology is just overtaking it, which is brilliant. But there's a part of me that still likes that old. I want to see a big, massive machine with a sign saying on air.
Yeah, I've been to them before.
I missed that a bit. I haven't got that at the minute. I've just got it's a little station. It's big enough, but it's a little station, but it's not like a proper. I just want a proper on air and have somebody come and give me coffees and stuff, like Fraser,
Yeah, completely. Do you find you have to plan your radio programs out quite detailed every week, what you're playing and stuff like that?
No, I think anybody who listens to it will realise I don't. What I do is I plan the songs. I've got the songs 2 weeks before, so I know what I'm playing because I want that to work and I want the songs to go well together, and I also want to give. I have a mix between sort of, I say classic music, like older music and newer music, newer bands. And I think for me it's important, although a lot of people would love to say just play loads of new bands and get them out there, I think people like to hear what they know. So I mix up a bit. So I know what I'm playing within 2 weeks, and then it just kind of, it's like you put the adverts in and you put the things in, and then you've not got that long to speak, so I just kind of ramble about what's going to happen in the week and where I'm going or what's going on or what bands. If a band, say if I'm playing, I don't know, Revival Black, I'll make sure, and if they're playing that weekend, I'll just mention where they're playing. So no, it's not hard work. I would love to say it's hard work, but it really isn't at all. Anybody could do it. Anybody could do what I do. Generally, everything I do in life, anybody could do.
I like it.
And that's the rule. I've just got probably more time than everyone else. I don't know what it is. But,
no, I get you completely there with that one. So, obviously, what we're here to talk about really today is obviously apart from all this gigging and stuff like and you're comparing is. I know you bought a book out, didn't you, already? And you've got another book out as well, in the way as well, haven't you? So do you want to tell people, obviously, first of all, about your first book that's already in print at the moment? Then we'll talk about your upcoming book shortly.
Yeah, of course, it was Resurrection Mill, and it was. So I wrote this book maybe 4 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it's kind of set about grave digging in Scotland. And although I'm Scottish, I have nothing to do. I have no knowledge about this grave digging. I've got had no interest in it, and I just picked up this newspaper article or a magazine, and I was just reading it. I don't know. I was waiting for a bus or something, and I read a true story about in Dundee. The grave digging was so bad, the body snatching was so bad that a man, the son who was 12, died, and he had to kind of run gunpowder around the son's body to make sure he didn't get dug up. And that night when he went to sleep, he heard the explosion. So somebody was digging up his son. And I just thought, that's a story to be told. And I know Burke and Hare, people know about him, but I thought, so I did my research and I thought, I'm from Dundee. And I didn't know, not only was the body snatching that bad, but the police force was built because of the body snatching. So I'm thinking, this is a big bit of history no one's noticed. Or no one's kind of. So I wrote a story around it, and I kind of based it on a fictional character called Geordie Mill, who was a real person, but no one really knew what. Was he a body snatcher? What wasn't he? So I built this kind of really dark comedy about the body snatching in Dundee. Yeah, and it's so nice because I read it, I did it, and I sent it off, and then people who always read it go, oh my God, I thought it was going to be rubbish, but it's all right. And it's quite historically, I mean, I reread it last year, and I was quite surprised myself. I'm like, oh, God, it's all right. So yeah, that was it, and it was just odd, and I sent it to sort of a group in Dundee who do kind of ghost tours and stuff, and they were like, yeah, we know all about this. I'm really glad you wrote about it, because people don't know about it, so I did that, yeah, and I thought I'm never going to write a book again, ever. I thought it's so time consuming, but I did. Like, so.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and this obviously,
it's great.
it sounds fascinating, that first book. Certainly, your second book, obviously, like the one that Amanda's been helping you out with, called The Call.
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
great job she's done.
yeah. Now, was it an accidental book, or did you have this planned a bit more straightforward than your previous book?
It was completely accidental. I was sitting around and I kept on thinking, well, what happened was, so when I toured with the Wayward Sons, they said, why don't you sell your book on the merch stand? And I'm like, well, nobody buys a book at a rock gig, although they did, so it was great. So then I thought, well, I've written it, I may as well try to make a 50p here or there. So I kind of brought my books to the gigs. I just thought to myself, well, I don't know what it was. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if a book was about the gig? It was relative to the gig? Because right now I'm trying to flog a book that's got no relevance to the gig apart from
like Gravediggers, yeah. It's a slight different genre, yeah.
Like, it really is. Like a genre, I'm kind of thinking, I'm flogging a dead horse here. I feel a little bit silly, but after a while of selling things, you don't care. Yeah. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool? And then I wouldn't say who, but I was working with a band. I was compere with a band. And I just kind of thinking with them, I thought, you guys, this isn't. My opinion of rock bands is, what you do on stage, you can be as rock and roll as you want, and that's brilliant. And we all love a rock band, absolutely. It's theatre to me. That's what I like about it. But when you get off stage, just be normal. You're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, just be normal. And there's a few people who I met, and over the last maybe 6 months particularly, there's a few bands that have kind of riled me a little bit and thought, hold on here. And I thought, I need an outlet. I can't be slagging them off online. I wouldn't do that anyway, but I thought, I need an outlet. And I thought, hold on, I can put two and two together here and want my book. So that's why. So there's loads of bands in it who are real bands who I love. But the main band in it I've kind of just based on a number of people.
Yeah, of course. We're not naming names, of course, right? Well,
no, and they're not any particular people. They're kind of so the main guitarist, the main protagonist is probably 4 or 5 people rolled into one. And then, of course, as you edit it and as you rewrite it, it kind of changes. And as your thoughts change, the character kind of develops a character of their own.
Yeah. No, I get it completely. No, that sounds fascinating. Now, obviously, you said off mic before this was a much quicker book to write in your first book, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, I think it's because the other one was really good and this was rubbish.
Oh, if I don't hear laughing in the background, Amanda's sat in the background. Amanda's here in the background. She just, everyone's wondering, you had a second laugh then.
It was just kind of, as Amanda could tell when I sent it to her, it was quite obvious. I was typing it really quickly and I had these ideas in my head and I thought, I've got a little, there's probably, I've been busy, but I've been a bit quiet and I needed to kind of rush it out. So I had these ideas in my head. I thought, I'm determined to get it out. And then, of course, I thought, well, I want to set it at a festival, but I need to get it out quite quickly before the festival season. And I thought, I want to get this book out. It's in, I'm really impatient, and when something's in my head, I need to do it. I'm really bad.
No, best way to be, mate. Best way to be, definitely.
Yeah, so. I don't know. So that's it. So yeah, it was quicker because I had a lot of ideas, and it's shorter, and it was less. To be honest with you, there's no research to be done because I kind of knew. There's loads of bands in it, loads of festivals in it. It's about this new. I hate using the word new wave of classic rock, but it's about this kind of the rock resurgence. So I didn't have to do any research. Well, my last book, I had to kind of go, is that correct? And do loads of research, which was really interesting, but really time consuming.
Yeah, of course, this one, you're obviously straight from the heart. So it's like, they always say with writing, and that's same with comedy really, is you talk what you know about. And then as you go and research
that's the thing, isn't it?
You definitely wrote what you know there. So that's probably why it's been quite a reasonable.
Yeah, when you're writing about 5 middle-aged people on a stage playing rock music, you kind of know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know all the stories and the politics and the bands and stuff. Yeah, perfect, definitely. So
yeah.
Now, obviously, I know you've got quite a bit of gigs coming up here. To be honest with you, that's why. And would it be easier, Pete, if instead of getting you to tell us what dates you've got coming up, we refer people to your website? Because I can see gigs here listing right up to the end of October here at the moment alone. So
yeah, there is. I wanted to say about that, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got my website is www.petekmarley.co.uk. I've got about 5 or 6 of my stand-up dates, and the rest of the stuff is just comparing. But the comparing's quite nice because I get to do. It depends on the gig. Sometimes I get to do a bit of stand up as well, so it was quite nice, But yeah, the website's probably the best thing because I've got like an endless amount of dates, which scares me a little bit. I'm dead by the time I finish.
Want to ask you very quickly before
contract, so I'm all right.
Want to ask you very quickly before we go on to part 2 anyway. Is obviously you've been in quite a few festivals. What's been your favourite festival you've done so far? And then you can tell us about the worst one, and you don't name the worst one, right?
Yeah, no. Do you know what? They're all different, and I'm not being because I don't really care what I say. But Call of the Wild is so. I've been to loads of festivals, and it's the same kind of people who run them. The Call of the Wild one, which I set the book at, I liked because I was comparing it. It was a new festival. The people who'd organised it had done everything right, and things are going to go wrong, and things do go wrong. But in this festival, everything was done right. It was so nice to see, and I felt really comfortable. And do you know what? I think I get to a stage now that if somebody messes up, I don't care. If you've got a smile on your face, I'm happy. The bands, I knew a lot of the bands, and I was really excited to do it. And that's Call of the Wild. But then the Rise at Rambling Man, which I love, and that's the biggest festival I do. But I do the smaller stage. But that one is exciting because I don't really get faced with heroes or people in bands. But on Rambler Man, I get to go backstage and do the backstage stuff. And I'm meeting my heroes. I mean, last year I was meeting Chris Robinson. Well, I was doing a wee in the Rhino. And next to me was Chris Robinson from Black Crows. He's like, "You're right, Pete."
Fantastic.
I'm like, "Oh, damn, it's Chris Robinson." Like, and Foreigner. And you get to meet these guys backstage. And this is incredible. So next year with Lynyrd Skynyrd, and just happen to be backstage with Lynyrd Skynyrd, for me is amazing.
Oh yeah, completely. No, fair play, man. Definitely that one. So
I'm just like a little boy. But all the other festivals are kind of the same bands because they've all got slightly different vibes, and they just do. For example, there's a great woman in Wales who does this great festival for charity called Glass and Selfie, and that was very different because it wasn't just rock music. But she asked me to do that, and that was amazing because it was just like there was like the Welsh choir, and it was just. So I think the good thing with festivals is they're all different, and they've all got that kind of that everyone's there for the reason, everyone's there to have a good time, and I always think it's kind of like when you go on holiday and you go to the airport and you just get drunk and you don't count it as getting drunk because you're in the airport. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. That's like a festival to me. The minute you get through the gates, it's a different time zone. And it's a different world.
Fantastic. I agree with you completely, Pete. So, and has there been any festivals that, obviously we don't want to name names, when something's gone wrong on it? Or something that always sticks in your head, something like quite comical?
Yeah, no, there's not. There's been the majority are amazing. You're going to get a few ones, a few annoying ones, like the few ones for charity that I've done a couple of times, and I've spent loads of my money to get to, and I've done it, and I've been offered expenses, and I'm quite naive. So when people offer you expenses, I'm like, well, no, because it's for charity, and it's getting taken out of charity, and then you kind of see what some of the bands are getting paid, and then you don't get invited back or whatever, you do, but they're like, oh, you're gonna have to. I know you want expenses this time, and there's a few of these things. But generally, and I'm in a position now that I just do the ones that I want, which is great.
Oh yeah, completely.
There's one up in Scotland which is great called Winter Storm, but I always go up to it and I always do the second stage, and I absolutely love it. And I wear my kilt and a t-shirt, but nobody in the west coast of Scotland believes I'm Scottish. And I'm like, I'm from Dundee, but nobody will believe me. This is like a running joke. Like, oh god, but it's great. So most of them are just fantastic, and I'm at that age now that if I don't like it, I'll never go back. I'll just say thank you, bye. And so it's quite nice because I'm not going to make much money from it, so it's quite nice being in that position.
Yeah, no, it's labour of love basis for you. I get you completely that.
It really is, and it's not perfect. Like I went to see, like I'm a big festival goer. I went and download last year, and it was getting I've been like Donington since 1991, and even now I'm like, this last year was the first year I thought I can't afford it. It's too big. In Guns N' Roses, who I love, it was just like watching Keith Lyman on that stage bouncing around, and it was just like, oh, do you know what? I don't think I want to spend £300 next year. No, it's an amazing festival, but I just thought it's just too big and there's too much going on.
I think you do when you get to that amount of money like that. You're talking about quite serious money, aren't you, to go to a festival? Yeah, and it's
when you're watching like Marilyn Manson wobble on the stage and it's just rubbish, and you're thinking, I need to queue up half an hour for a beer and it costs £6.
yeah.
I got to a stage now, I'm like, and that's what I like about the festivals I'm doing. It's the same faces. It's kind of like a big family. You just know it. Even the stall holders you get to know really well, and that's quite nice. It's just nice to. It's like when I was a wee kid, I used to go pick walk crates. I don't know what it was. It was weird. And I used to go to my family, and we used to have the same families go every year. And the Bernardo kids, and you got to know everyone. And I think that's like festivals. You see the same faces, and I think that's dead good.
Yeah, completely. Right, Pete, I'm going to ask all my questions now. So, brilliant. I've really enjoyed today. Thank you for this. Now, I know you're going to read out a bit from your book for us.
No, brilliant.
So, everybody, hang around because I'm dying to hear what Pete's going to read out for us next. So thank you again, Pete, and we'll see you all in a minute. Spoken, mate. Hi, guys. Yeah, we're still here. Now, straight over to Pete because he's going to read an extract out for us from one of his books. Over to you, Pete, my friend.
Great, thank you very much. This is from The Call, the new one. And just quickly, a quick extract. And this is just about where the band in question, Raven Black Whiskey Stone, are doing the biggest gig of their life at the Call of the Wild Festival. So I've sort of set the scene there. And I'm going to start reading, if that's okay with you.
Go for it, mate.
Good stuff. I feel like I'm in Jack and Ori. Right. Where am I? I just realised I need to put my reading glasses on. I'm at that age now. I need to find my reading glasses. Here they are. Okay, they are on. It's embarrassing. Okay. He observed the crowd again, attempting to divert his eyes from Jim and Linda. He saw Dave O'Hara, Raz, White, and Lee, the organisers behind the whole organisation. Next to them were rock stars such as J.J. Watt, Nicky Smash, Joe Constable, and Benji Knopfler from the Rocket Dolls. He glimpsed the charismatic Tony Gale in the audience, lead singer from Shine, the members of Warrior Soul and Kicking Valentina. He spotted the members of Revival Black watching the stage in a full woman of Joan of Arc. He saw the members of Massive Wagon standing together, Baz, Adam, Stevie, Bowes and Alex, tonight's headliners, watching him in his opening band. He knew after this performance he would be there in 2 or 3 years' time, watching the opening band of the festival. He looked out at the audience, still streaming in. Many now in, but many others still making that walk from their tent to the main arena. He was aware of the sudden movement below him, in the pit, where 3 or 4 photographers came in and pointed their cameras up towards the stage. He was aware of the security guard standing out, watching the pit and adjusting his earpiece. He was also aware of the noise of the smoke machine during its business. Film scrutinised his world as if it was in slow motion. He heard the voice coming from the monitor saying, "We're ready when you are." He watched the sound engineer click on some buttons and slide some dials. He watched the sun beat down on the field below. Hundreds of rock fans awaiting the opening act of Call of the Wild 2020 Festival. Don't watch the compere took centre stage and moved the microphone closer to his mouth. "Call of the Wild," he screamed as the audience raised their hands and cheered back. "Are you ready for the first band to this amazing festival? It is my pleasure to introduce to you the opening band of the festival, the fantastic, the incredible, the superb, Raven Black Whiskey Stone." And with that, the audience cheered. The compere left the stage, and Clayton counted them in. It was time to shine.
Fantastic. That's a great extract, that, Pete. Definitely. I think it does. Yeah, it's perfect, mate. Yeah, I think it does give a really good feel for the book there straight away. So I could understand. That's why I wish you all the best, definitely. So keep me informed if you're playing Manchester. And if me and the boss can, we could definitely come and watch you. So it'd be a pleasure, definitely, with that one. So
absolutely. Well, have a look at it, obviously, as well with the tour dates. Obviously, if you're around any of these gigs, and especially the actually stand-up tour, let us know and bring as many friends as you want. And obviously, don't pay, just come along and let me know who's coming in, whatever, and you get an info, and I'll buy you a drink, and it'll be a nice night. My support actor, magician, sidekick, rock DJ. So that'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, that's completely different, Dave, for that one straight away. So I think I'm always a firm believer when you're doing this sort of thing.
I've never seen him doing stuff, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm always a firm believer when you do stuff like go on tour, is have something completely different alongside you. So I think that's a fantastic idea.
It.
So
well, I've got him, and on the London gig, I've got Woody Guthrie tribute act who are doing punk versions of Woody Guthrie, and I've got Shine, the Sleaze band. So it's just something, like I said, as a comedian, a magician, and 2 rock bands. It's kind of like Britain's Got Talent without that kind of annoying Simon Cowell. It's quite and it's like tickets for £5, so I think it's quite a nice night.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt it. It does sound like it was excellent night. So, well, thank you for today, Pete. Anyway, and
no, thank you. That's been great. Thank you so much for your time and stuff.
Hang around. I need to quit you off mic. But it's Andy N signing out tonight. And thank you again, Pete. Spoken Label. Thanks again for listening to another session of Spoken Label. Our full archive can be found over on Bandcamp at Spoken Label. That's one word. Spoken Label. Full stop. Bandcamp.com. And there is over 150 sessions there. So I'm sure that if you've enjoyed this session, there'll be something else there you can enjoy as well. Take care. Bye bye. Spoken Label.